Hello and welcome to the first episode of This Week in Sportsball. I'm your host, Agent Rangel, and today we're going to be going over the 2024 NFL playoffs, and we're going to be going over from the wild card all the way over to the Super Bowl. First off, we got the Denver Broncos versus the Buffalo Bills. This was the first game of the wild card weekend, and Broncos managed to keep it competitive for about a half. Bo Nix had a nice 45-yard touchdown to Tyler Franklin, and that's about it. They kind of just stalled after that. Considering where they were at the beginning of the season and what they're projected to be, all Broncos fans can do now is just revel over the season that they had and just hope for the future that Bo Nix doesn't have that sophomore slump like somebody else did. Next up, we got the Steelers versus the Ravens, and yeah, this game was rough. The Steelers showed absolutely no life the entire game, and they've been outscored 63-0 in their last 5 playoff games in the first quarter, and that's just absolutely insane. The Steelers are currently in football purgatory, where they're not good enough to go to the Super Bowl, but they're also not bad enough to get a good draft pick and rebuild, and it's just hell for the Steelers fans. I believe Mike Tomlin should have been fired years ago, but this organization hates change, and I don't think they're going to get anytime soon. Next up, we got the Chargers versus the Texans. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what happened here. This was a tough game to grasp beforehand. Texans kind of flew under the radar with how bad they were this season, especially with that god-awful division. But there can never be anything worse than LA Chargers playoff football. Even with Harbaugh, even with Justin Herbert having one of his best seasons as of late, they just couldn't get it done. And it just goes to show the second LA team can never have anything nice. As we head over to the NFC side of the wild card, we got one team that's playing way over expectations in the Washington Commanders, and then another one where we didn't really know where they were in the NFC power scale in the Buccaneers, and it turns out they weren't very high. The Buccaneers beat themselves today, and they came into a underrated team, and they were not expecting what they were going to throw at them. It looked like they had the game in their hands, and they just fumbled it away, just like Baker Mayfield. In the end, it's just another tough loss for the Buccaneers that's probably going to be blamed on Baker Mayfield by proxy. Next, we got Vikings versus Rams. There's nothing more inseparable than the Vikings and blowing up in very important situations. Playing down to their competition is just kind of what they do come playoff time. The Rams didn't even do anything fun. They just kind of didn't suck, and they won the game. Sam Darnold, oh my god. I've truly never seen a situation flip as fast as I've seen that one. Sam Darnold really managed to destroy everything he had in the matter of 2 weeks. From losing to Detroit week 18 to completely fumbling the bag in the wild card, he missed out on the easiest bag of money he's ever going to get in his life, and it just feels bad for him. But I guess an elite defense can only get you so far. This was one of the worst offensive showings I have ever seen out of a Packers offense since the 2021 divisional game against the 49ers. We managed to hold the best offense in the NFC down to 22 points, which was the lowest in their playoff run, and our offense did absolutely nothing to capitalize off that. The main question is around the scheming of the situation. We had Josh Jacobs, we always ran with him, but once the offense was stalled, we had nowhere else to go. But once we shifted towards Josh Jacobs' main offense, the whole scheming around the pass game was just so conservative, and it ruined the offense. Jordan Love got absolutely nothing done. Obviously, he makes his boneheaded decisions. That's just kind of who he is. Like looking at Matt Stafford and the Matt Patricia offense back in Detroit. You can't have a gunslinger quarterback play like Tom Brady. He doesn't throw checkdowns. He throws more than 10 yards down the field. And whenever he's given the reins, he balls out. It's shown repeatedly on both of the Vikings games. The GM claiming we're going into more of a win now mode this offseason. We're just going to have to hope and pray to see that he does something. To open up the divisional round, we got Texans-Chiefs. And let's just get one thing straight here. The refs were bad. They were really bad. But to put the game on the refs when the Texans have such a bad team and have been playing consistently so bad the whole year, it's just completely naive and stupid. It's stupid. It's so incredibly stupid to say that. This Texans O-line unit has been playing like hot garbage the entire year.
Way. Like, what is that? What is that?
Dude,
What
you're like-
is that?
you're mental.
Freaking Bellman. Oh, thank you, Mr. Karloftis. CJ Stroud is expecting you.
CJ Stroud was sacked 9 times this game, and what do you expect him to do there? You can't have many issues on your roster and then just have the scapegoat. You can't have your quarterback get sacked 9 times and then blame it on the refs. That's just the moral of the story. Please get over it. Next up, we got Ravens versus the Bills. Now, this was the game to see, and it was a pretty good game overall. The Ravens got off to a slow start this game, but started to pick things back up and started to do the thing, like being good at football. Lamar Jackson also threw one of the worst interceptions I have ever seen in my whole life. It's next to that Kirk Cousins interception, and at least the Kirk Cousins had an excuse for that one. Towards the end of the game, it was a 2-point game. If the Ravens got this 2-point conversion, they go to OT and have the potential chance to win the game. And then Mark Andrews drops it. He drops it in the most heart-wrenching way possible. And I can't... Why? Lamar continues to reinforce the narrative that he can't do anything in the playoffs, and it's getting harder year and year to defend him. Next up, in the NFC, we got Rams versus Eagles. Gotta be honest with you, I didn't watch this game. I thought this was going to be a clean sweep on the Eagles, and it kind of was, but it was a lot closer than I thought it would be. It's managed to keep themselves in the game, but their offense, like the Packers, couldn't get anything done. Even at the end of the game, where they had a chance to win it, they just couldn't get it done in the end. Eagles tried so hard to hand them this game, and they just still couldn't get it through. They just couldn't get the upset done, and it's just so sad to see. Speaking of upsets, you want to look at that? Injuries finally caught up to the Lions, and what was this a game to watch? If we thought the last Commanders game was a shootout, this was a shootout. I mean that in the blandest terms possible, because the Lions really didn't shoot very much. Jared Goff managed to prove everyone to the world how overrated he is as a quarterback, and threw a lot of interceptions and had a lot of turnovers this game that completely ruined all momentum the Lions could have or should have had. Ben Johnson fumbling the game with his cutesy play calls were just not the move, and I cannot wait to see him on the Bears next season and lose a game because he wants to throw it with Keenan Allen. Speaking of Ben Johnson, both coordinators for the Lions, both Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson, are going off to the brighter pastures of Chicago and New York, however bright those pastures can be. I also just want to point out the fact that all 3 NFC North teams didn't get a single playoff game. Single win, not a single win. No one won. No one. As we go over to the championship rounds, we got Bills versus Chiefs.
Brother, let us play, man. Let us play the game.
We all knew it was going to happen. We all knew that the Bills were going to come up short. But, we thought this year was different. We thought this year, you know what? Maybe Josh Allen can pull through. Just maybe. He didn't. He failed us again. The suspect Bills defense finally got torn apart by a team. This Matt Nagy offense is not very good, but Patrick Mahomes just always plays his best games against Josh Allen and the Bills defense, and it was just so sad to watch. It was yet another close ending where Josh Allen, absolutely no blocking, no time to run, no time to even process the play, and heaves it to a Dalton Kincaid who could have caught the ball, but to give him the benefit of the doubt, who the hell is catching that in an actual game? Not Dalton Kincaid, apparently. The NFL community is absolutely broken by this loss. But, I guess we'll just have to look at the Super Bowl. Eagles-Commanders. Yeah, the Eagles' insanity run just died out. It's over. It's done. It was all cool and all, but we all knew this was going to happen. But to be fair, this kind of happens when you're against the overall best roster in the league. And there's really nothing you can do about it. Commanders fans, enjoy your offseason. You guys got a bright future ahead of you. Jaden Daniels looks damn good. And we got the Super Bowl. We have the Super Bowl. We're going over the Super Bowl. Not a single soul outside of these teams' fan bases wanted the Super Bowl. But you know what? The NFL wanted it. And I guess we'll take it. I guess we'll take the Super Bowl. And it did not give us a good showing. The Chiefs came up just short. It was so close. They came up just slightly just a little bit behind. The first NFL three-peat is still yet to happen, and I don't know if it's ever going to happen. This was probably the best chance in my lifetime that I'm ever going to see a team three-peat, and you know what? I'm content with that. I love parity. So let's just move on. This game was close at the beginning when the score was 0-0, but after that, it kind of just fell apart. This Chiefs, I don't know what happened to the Chiefs. It was similar to the Buccaneers game, but at least I don't know. Dude, this was bad. It was really bad. I was personally morally outraged by the Super Bowl because I had 2 Super Bowl matchups that I did not want, and this was the main one. I have my own opinions on both of these teams. Please don't let this happen again.